I'm Spartacus. No, I'm Spartacus. No, I'm Spartacus. The famous lines from none other than Spartacus. One of my favorite movies of all time. I'm really excited to talk to you about this movie. So welcome to the Adam Kiss Show. And before we go on any further, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. We have a ton of great content coming your way. Feel free to check out all of our past videos. We got plenty more videos, and definitely comment below what other videos you'd like me to do, what other movies you'd like me to review, what other filmmaking tips and tricks of the trade you'd like me to share with you. I clearly have all the secrets of the universe that I'm willing to impart to you, so I'm here for you. Definitely like this video, feel free to share, and now that you're subscribed, we can continue. What do you get when you combine a great story, a great script, great direction, great performances, and great music? Well, if you're lucky, you'll get a great movie, and that's exactly what Spartacus is. Now, I'm not talking about any of the recent Spartacus movies or TV series. I actually haven't seen any of those. I'm not sure if I should. I've obviously heard some people like them, some people don't, but I'm talking about the original 1960 movie directed by Stanley Kubrick, starring Kirk Douglas and Gene Simmons. Both of them starred in the movie. So what's interesting is that this is actually a Kubrick movie, which a lot of people don't realize at first. Stanley Kubrick is famous for a lot of his later works like Clockwork Orange, 2001: A Space Odyssey, The Shining, Barry Lyndon, Eyes Wide Shut. He actually didn't make many more movies than that. I believe he made somewhere between 8 to 15 movies, to be safe, I should say. I wouldn't say he made many more than that. Another great one he made also before this, before Spartacus, was Paths of Glory, also starring Kirk Douglas. And then I believe Kirk Douglas brought him on to Spartacus. Originally, Mann was directing Spartacus, and then I believe he was fired after the first few days by Kirk Douglas. Only the few shots that weren't directed by Kubrick were those original shots where Spartacus is chained to the rock and where he's being bought. Those scenes, I believe, were shot by Mann, but the rest of it was shot by Kubrick, I believe. And again, this is a movie that Kubrick actually ended up disowning. He didn't consider it part of his catalog of movies, and I believe that was because he didn't necessarily have creative control. Kirk Douglas had a lot of creative control in this, as well as the studio, so they were constantly butting in. He kind of felt a little bit like this wasn't really his baby, like he was kind of being pushed around. He was kind of being forced to do a lot of things, though he definitely had his influence in the movie. One thing in particular was that he took out all of Kirk Douglas's lines from the beginning of the movie. And Kirk Douglas was originally a little bit mad about that, but he ended up kind of saying, okay, you're right, yeah, I shouldn't have many lines in the beginning, which really does add to the movie in a lot of ways. He definitely believed, he didn't necessarily like the final product, but he believed that he made it a lot more interesting than it would have been. A lot of scenes he made more interesting. It definitely has a great cast with Kirk Douglas, Gene Simmons, Laurence Olivier playing Crassus, Tony Curtis playing his slave. So again, it has a star-studded cast, certainly for the time, and it's just overall a great movie. Obviously, it tells the tale of Spartacus, which is a true story of a slave in the Roman Empire, and telling the story of the biggest slave uprising. This was in the time of, obviously, when Crassus was very powerful. Julius Caesar was supposedly very young and involved in putting down that rebellion. And at the end of the day, the rebellion, they marched down, but right around Sicily, but they were obviously not able to get away in boats. So there was obviously the final big confrontation, and they ended up losing that. And then obviously, as depicted in the movie, there was mass punishment and mass crucifixions, and supposedly his body was never found of Spartacus, whether he died or got away. It's your guess is as good as mine. Obviously, the movie takes its own interpretation, which I will not spoil here in any way. But again, it's a great movie, and another thing that makes it a great movie is its fantastic score. Very simplistic score, absolutely incredible score by Alex North, who I also know from scoring the movie North by Northwest. It's really just such a heartbreaking, simple score. It really softens the story. It really adds that extra emotional depth, and I just love the score. It's one of my favorite scores of all time. And I think that's all I've got to say about Spartacus for now. When something's great, it's great. Again, when it's broke, don't fix it. So I could obviously talk for hours about it, but I think that's the general idea. I hope you enjoyed this review, and definitely subscribe to the channel to see more reviews like this. Like and comment below what other videos you'd like me to do. That's all, folks.